Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our annual Girls in ICT, International Girls in ICT Day webinar. We will kindly request for you to give us some more time to allow some more participants to join in, then we can officially start the meeting. So we'll start it at exactly 10:10. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to our webinar in celebration of the International Girls in ICT Day. To start off our webinar, I will kindly ask Melissa, if you're there, if you can kindly pray for us. Melissa?
Hi. I don't know if the right word will be, let's bow our heads for word of prayer. Okay, let's pray. Father, we come before you this day. I thank you for the gift of life and for the gift of letting us see this day, O Lord. As we start our session, we pray that we may have an interactive and we may learn from whatever that our speakers are here to speak about. And I hope that everyone will be touched one way or another and spread the word about technology and how it helps everyone in this day and age. We pray this, trusting and believing in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Melissa. Again, everyone, welcome for those who are joining in as we celebrate the International Girls in ICT Day. My name is Ongoi Karanja. I'll be your moderator for today's session. I'll be my colleague, Claire Karani. And today we have lined up an exciting panel of speakers. We have several speakers. I might just go through them. We have Anne Mwangi. We have Nancy Morethi. We have Amata Morio, Melissa Michuki, and Mercy Kiptui. So I'll introduce them later, more what they do and their current, or what they're currently doing with in their careers. In the meantime, I'll invite my co-moderator, Claire, to just give us a bit overview about Immobilis and the course of the webinar today. Karibu sana, Claire.
Thank you very much, Koi. Just confirm you can hear me kindly.
Yes, we can hear you clearly, Claire.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Wangoi, for starting off with a very powerful introduction. I welcome everyone once more to the International Girls in ICT Day webinar. So even before we do anything, I'd like us to start with a quick icebreaker so that we can all feel very engaged and part of this webinar. So I'd like us to do a quick activity. I know we all have our phones next to us. So just as a quick fun activity for this day, I'd like us to Google our names. So I can see we have Alice Muni, Anne Mwangi, Daniel Mithui. So just quickly take out your phones, Google your name and tell us on the chat section what you find. What are the results? What do you see about yourself? What social media pages or activities, or what comes up fast? So just Google yourself, a quick 30 seconds, 1 minute, Google yourself and then tell us what you find. So let me do that as well so that we can all just be part of this webinar. Just Google yourself and tell us on the chat section, what do you see? What do you find? So I'd like to see people commenting on the chat section, telling us what they're finding, what social media pages are coming up, what are they seeing about themselves. Daniel Mithui, I can see you're saying Book of Daniel. Okay, interesting. So is this the first result? Florentina means flower. Okay, thank you, Florentina. Melvin, I can see you're saying LinkedIn JavaScript developer. Okay, that's nice. Irene Mungai, I see you're saying Irene South Korean singer. Quite interesting. Omata Moroi, you're telling us LinkedIn profile. Okay, that's nice. More people. Let me see, just a minute. Farida Abdallah, you're saying your LinkedIn profile. Melissa Michuki, LinkedIn profile. Eunice Alela, you've said LinkedIn, then Awit, and then Twitter. Great. Alice Muni, alice.muni GitHub. Great, great. Nice to see what results are coming up. Mutiso Cleverton, LinkedIn app. Interesting. Anyone else? Anyone else? I'm not seeing anyone saying Facebook. That's quite unique because most of the time we'll find people's Facebook page also comes in front, but I'm really glad to see many of you, it's the LinkedIn profiles that's coming up fast. So that's great. Fresha Karagov, LinkedIn profile. Yeah, let's have more people. We don't use our real names on FB. Okay. Now I understand why. Okay, thanks, Ad, for that. Eda, I can see you're saying LinkedIn profile. Dorcas Singasha, KCP results. Wow, okay. That's an interesting one. Honestly, I have never had that one. So do people see also their campus grades on there? Someone else tell me something different. What else are you seeing? So Daniel Mithu, you said full name is LinkedIn, Twitter, then GitHub. Okay, great. I'm really glad to see that your LinkedIn profile is coming up fast. GitHub profiles have come up. Twitter profiles have come up. So that's great. I can see you're already creating your brand. With or without knowing, your brand is already out there. So great. Maybe we can have the last two and then I can proceed. So the last two people to tell us which profiles have come up first. Any last two? As I start sharing my screen. Okay. So I believe you can all see my screen. So it will just be proper if I would start off with an introduction of Immobilis, the team that has organized this webinar. So Immobilis is a tech academy that is situated at Westlands in Nairobi, and this is one and our only campus. We are a tech institution that has been around for the last 11 years. Yeah, so we have been around for the last 11 years, and we have been accredited by the Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. So during this time, we've been honored to be awarded the best use of ICT in education back in 2015. We also received an award as first runners-up in the Diversity Inclusion National Award in 2020. And additionally, we also won the Presidential Digitalent Program Cohort 5 as Best Private Sector Company in the category of Training and Certification and Mentorship. So as you've heard, Immobilis is basically a tech academy, and we have a number of courses that we offer as Immobilis. So just on the screen, you can see we range from the full stack software development all the way to Oracle. So our main program normally takes 4 months, and these other subsequent programs, others take 1 month, others take 2 months, others 3 months. So it just basically depends on the program that you're interested in. But our main program, the full stack software development course, is normally 4 months, whereby we teach students both the web part and also the Android part. So our target basically is students straight after high school. So normally when you finish high school and you're looking for what to do and you'd like to pursue the tech space, so this is what we give. There's normally an eStart that we give to all our students who are in Form 4 and currently are maybe pursuing computer studies, because then we realize they have an interest in tech and they would like to know more about programming and what tech entails. So I'm a beneficiary of this program, whereby in 2014 I got a partial scholarship from Immobilis, and I was able to pursue the full stack software development course, which is also known as the MIT course. And I think gradually from that, it also influenced my choice in campus, where I did IT and also just delved into the tech space. Other than the courses that you've had, those are now the paid courses. Now on the screen, you can see some of the courses that Immobilis runs, and most of these are normally, sponsored by donors, grants. The website and mobile app software development course is a course that took around 2 months in the beginning of this year and also late last year, whereby we were funded by MasterCard. So our job was to look for students in the tertiary institutions, so meaning third year, fourth year students pursuing IT and would now like the practical aspect of it. So it was fully sponsored, meaning the students got bundles, they got access to our lecturers, and they were able now to create an app after 2 months. Secondly, we have the MobiGirls program, which is an initiative by Immobilis, and the Google Digital Skills for Africa program, Ajira Digital. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the Ajira Digital program. We also have the Digital Accelerator program. This was in sponsorship or in partnership with GIZ and EAC that saw 20 students from from 6 countries in Africa. So Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, South Sudan. So 20 participants in each of these countries got to learn how to program, Android programming. It was a bootcamp for around 20 days. And after these 20 days, these students were able to create an application and present it to a panel. And then lastly, we have the Mobile Apps Bootcamp by Natcom. So just to delve just a bit, like I was saying about our courses, they have different timeframes. And after each and every course, how we test the student that has understood what we are actually teaching is by actually doing a project. So whether you're doing web development, Android, data science, MIT, all these courses have a practical aspect in it, whereby first of all, we'll teach you very practically, and also secondly, as an exam, so to speak, it will be actually a project in the course that you learned. So as talking about MobiGirls, so this is an initiative by Immobilis when they realized that there are so many male students pursuing tech, yet the women were few. I think this also is true sometimes in universities, whereby you will find that in IT courses, computer science, IT, anything that has computer science, mathematics, IT, you'll find that they're more male than female. So in this case, Immobilis decided to launch this initiative so that you can empower the girls and young women, bring in people to be able to train them. So we've done trainings in digital literacy, software development, and graphics design. And from this is where we were able to get a grant, and we were able to train around 30 young women. So the Digital Skills Program is also another program that Immobilis runs. So this program is in sponsorship with Google. And since 2016, we've been able to train around 260,000 youth and entrepreneurs. So this is another program that is free of charge, that is now basically focusing on entrepreneurs, people who have small businesses and would like to understand how to grow their business. And I'm also glad that amongst our very phenomenal speakers, we also have someone in digital marketing who will be explaining the field and what it also entails. I explained this, I think, as we were beginning the Digital Accelerator program that Immobilis carried out. Whereby students from these 6 countries in Africa were able to be trained, and they were able to learn valuable skills in Android programming. Also, we have the website development program. Like I said, it was in sponsorship with MasterCard, whereby we were able to train students, around 360 students on web development programming for a period of 2 months, and we're able to use our learning management system Moodle. So this is a program that was carried out this year in January and February, and we'll be soon conducting our annual graduation for this particular group. Last but not least, we have the Ajira Digital program. I think many of us have heard about this program. So Immobilis is in charge of operationalization of this program. And this program, as you know, it is an initiative by the government so that they can understand how online work can help more people. So just to improve people's employability. So meaning you don't have to work for anyone, you can work for yourself, especially during COVID. The flexibility of work has been really great and amazing. So the Ajira program is also a program that as Immobilis, we are able to actually actualize and be able to be situated in all the counties in Kenya. So basically that is it. Some of our partners, as I've mentioned, Google, Microsoft, Safaricom, Young Africa Works, Ajira, UNESCO, KEPSA. So these are just some of the many clients and partners that we've been able to work with to be able to execute all these programs that I've talked about, from Ajira to digital skills to MobiGirls, all these programs that we've been able to talk about. So basically that's it. Just a brief overview and breakdown of Immobilis, what we do, where we're located. And now I'd like to just, invite you and welcome you to this amazing webinar we're having with such amazing speakers. I'm really looking forward to hear them speak. And feel free to ask questions in the chat section. We'll also be having a Q&A at the very end. In case anything was not addressed, you can feel free to ask. So back to you, my moderator, Madam Ongoi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Claire, for such an informative session and explanation about Immobilis. And as we had said, we have very good speakers with us live today, and I'll not like to take too much of the time as our program. So I'll start by inviting our first speaker. Maybe I can just give a brief introduction. First speaker will be Anne Mwangi. Anne Mwangi is an alumni of Immobilis. She was here back in 2014. She pursued the MIT course as well, and she's currently working as a data analyst at the US Embassy, having previously worked with the industry leaders like Safaricom, PwC, and she's actually very active in mentorship programs, trying to get more ladies into the STEM space. And I think that's a awesome initiative. And some of the key mentorship she has been part of include Digitize Her, and one done in collaboration with Safaricom and Akili Data that involved preparing high school students for the inaugural Kenyan chapter for the International Technovation Challenge. So Anne, if you're there, karibu sana. Karibu Anne, maybe kindly can, we can't hear you.
Is that better?
A bit, we can hear just a little bit. I think you should put your, we can't hear you clearly, Anne.
Is it better?
Yeah, much better. Thank
Okay.
you. Karibu sana, Anne. Maybe kindly you can just start by introducing yourself and tell us who you are and what you do. I think I've said most of it, but I think it sounds better coming from the old. Karibu sana.
Okay, thank you very much. So as Wangoi has introduced me, my name is Anne Mwangi. I'm an Immobilis alumni, proudly. I also studied at JKUAT, another school I am proud to be associated with. I work at the US Embassy as a data analyst. Previously, I have worked with PricewaterhouseCoopers and Safaricom. I also do mentorship programs. She has highlighted some of the mentorship programs that I participate in. And yeah, that's basically me in a nutshell. There are other things to me, but that's that's a good start and summary to it.
Nice. So maybe, Anne, you can tell us more about your journey in tech, what courses you pursued, and why you choose to venture into those specific courses and into tech, to be precise.
I got into tech by accident, honestly. I was just in the right place at the right time at the start of the because I started out as someone who was ridiculously afraid of computers. I really thought I could break a computer by hitting it. I guess it was a function of how we lived, where we thought TVs were these magical and fragile things, and I really did want to get close to one. Then somewhere, when I was probably in class 4 or something along those lines, we had computer introduced as a subject in this primary school that I was in. So at that point, I started learning slowly, but I was still very afraid. And then shortly after, someone close to me got access to a laptop because they had just joined campus, so they needed it because we were doing an IT-related course. Now, it is this that actually got me fully into tech, surprisingly through games. So I played pinball, how I learned that I could not break a computer. Then I moved on to typing tests and playing games that involve, speed typing and all those things. I was like, this is cool. So now from that point, I taught myself the basics of packages, specifically Word and PowerPoint, at which point I became, I think the right word is annoying, because I could not speak to you in any other way. I want to talk to you, I will type out a whole Word document and give you the computer, read that. I do birthday presentations on PowerPoint, anniversaries for relatives, things like those. I would just do a lot of things on computers, which is how I actually learned how to do some of these things. And then I got into high school, where I actually took computer as a course. Now that picking computer in high school is what got me into Immobilis, because I met Immobilis, people who are championing for Immobilis, or rather enlightening us on what Immobilis can offer. One of the symposia that I attended called I was a student in computer. Now that I learned programming, before this, all I was doing was just normal Word, Excel, Access, PowerPoint, so I got Immobilis and I learned programming, and it's like a whole new world has opened. So that was the point at which I actually fully made up my mind. I want to do computer as a course in university, but I still wasn't sure what I wanted to do. So I got into a more, I would say, generalist thing, which was computer technology, because with that, you can venture into software, hardware, whatever really. So yeah, I got into that and then got into the jobs that I have just explained. So that was essentially the journey that got me to where I am.
That is very interesting. Very interesting to just hear that it was by accident that you're in this industry, and yet you've accomplished so much, and you're working hard to ensure that more ladies and more young girls get into the space. So maybe I can just, another question, if you don't mind. What are some of the challenges that you faced in the different companies you've worked for, especially as a lady in tech, and how have you overcome these challenges? We can't hear you very clearly. Not yet. Your bit, we can hear the small sound from afar. I don't know, I think it's your mic. Okay, I think we can just wait for her maybe to work on the mic audio. Kindly just give her a few minutes. She explained to us that she has a very interesting story about how she got into the tech space. Yes.
Let me know if this is better.
Yeah, much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sorry, I apologize to Safaricom for blaming them for the bad quality of my ear.
Yes.
Please repeat your question.
Oh, so I was asking about the challenges that you faced in the different sectors you've worked in, different companies you've worked in, especially being a lady in tech, and how you overcame these challenges.
So, that was, it's been an interesting, rewarding journey, but it has a significant amount of challenges. I listed all of them. Will be here for quite a bit of time, not to scare anyone away from the field, just to let you know what you will expect. But I think if I picked the main challenges, the biggest challenge, number one, was actually myself. It's something that took a long time to identify and to overcome, and it manifests in different ways. So if I would give a a short story. At some point, you had it mentioned in my introduction that I am a mentor, and I was a mentor in the first chapter of the Technovision Challenge. So how that happened was 1 month after me starting to learn how to code at Immobilis, I decided I can teach people how to code. Thankfully, I had a very supportive instructor at Immobilis. So I do not think for the entire duration anyone knew how short my experience with this was. Right. So at that point, I remember the first school that I was assigned to. So essentially the task was teach people who don't know how to code, teach them how to code, help them develop an app. They compete against each other at the Kenyan level and then go global and compete against other teams. You probably heard of one team that got to the San Francisco competitions, I guess, some 3 or 4 years back. Yeah, so the first time they were in Kenya, I was part of the mentors. But I have just left high school. So I'm told you need to teach people from Technical University of Kenya. And I said, hell no, how can I teach campus students? I have not been to campus. Now, what I missed was something essential. I knew something they did not, because I wasn't going to teach computer science students or whatever. I was teaching people who didn't know this. However, I doubted myself. So I instead picked a high school team, Maryhill Girls. Now, Maryhill, I went through the whole motions. So something else, I was in Nairobi specifically to be at Immobilis. I do not live in Nairobi. So once I was done with Immobilis, I went back home. Now, when the competitions were being held, I am meant to be in Nairobi. I refused to come to Nairobi, first of all. My parents had to strong arm me into it because it was, okay, why should I be there? My team will lose anyway. They're competing against people who are taught by people who've actually been in the industry for much longer. So I was strong-armed into that. I came, stayed for a while, and then decided, let me just go home. It's not worth it. I won't get anything. And then the team that I mentored actually got to the finals. Like, I learned about this on social media. I didn't even believe in myself enough to be there to pick that gift. So that was the point where I realized I'm actually really, really self-sabotaging. Yeah? And now from that point on, I made conscious decisions too. If you feel like there's a point where you feel like you know a bit of something, but you're also afraid that you'll mess it up. Just go for it anyway. Yeah. The other thing that was a really big stumbling block is, as Claire mentioned in her introduction, the IT space is heavily male dominated. And you find that when you interact with senior people in IT, they are now an older generation of men, which means you will always be the odd one out in a room. You will be this young girl in a room of much older men, and everyone is wondering, okay, what are you doing here? So everyone automatically makes an assumption that you are a diversity hire. You will notice it in how people talk to you, in how they interact with you, in how they jump over your head to ask questions to someone else, questions where you are the subject matter expert. Now, I have been lucky enough to have very strong male figures around me, my bosses and everyone. I have worked with very strong people and people who actually champion for women's rights. Now, the push that has been needed from my end is sometimes call their attention to some of these things. So there are points in time where someone will do something, maybe a client, and I can recognize they did that because I was a girl. Your boss, who probably has not seen this before, will not recognize it as fast as you would. Call their attention to it. Let them know that person spoke over me because I was a girl. They do not think I am competent. If you actually have a good boss, which I really hope you do, they will help you out next time. When someone jumps into your conversation, they will let her finish talking. She is the expert. They will divert questions to you when the clients don't actually believe that you know what you're talking about, right? So you need to give it a bit of a push. I'm not saying give them 20, 30 chances because they also need to learn, but sometimes you need to show them, you need to guide them gently to what you would rather be. And I think I can cap it off at that because those are the two major challenges that I had. And yeah, that's how I have dealt with them so far.
Oh, very interesting. And I hope everyone is getting to know those key points that Anne has mentioned about how you can actually overcome and that they actually get good people out there who are willing to support. And we're very proud of you, Anne, and the mentorship program you've been running, as in you've been a part of. So maybe if, I'm sure many people always ask as in even our audience, even our students as they come here, maybe you can just explain a bit for them. How does one become a data analyst? And is it different from being a data scientist? And maybe you can tell us which courses they need to do to maybe become the data analyst or data scientist.
So you get into data through, okay, I see a hand up.
Yes, Dikoma, maybe we can ask question maybe later, kindly, so as to save on time, but let's just hear her out. Dikoma? Yeah, I think she was just trying to see if that actually works. So we'll ask question we'll have a chat section. You'll have a chance to ask the speakers the questions you have. So for now, let's hear them out as they give us their wisdom. Okay, Anne, you can proceed.
So about data, there are two ways that you can get into data. You can get into data through IT. You can get into it through the statistics route. As I had earlier stated, I wasn't sure when I was getting into IT what I wanted to do in IT. So I personally chose a more generalized route, which was computer technology. That did not limit me to doing data only. In fact, if you look at at Safaricom, I was a solutions architect. Then I became an IT consultant, governance, risk, all that thing. And then I moved into data, which was partly because of that having been more generalized. So how I got into all these fields was now I chose certifications specific to them. So for instance, IT audit, I am certified in that region. Solutions architecture, I have done networking certifications, right? So the course that I took or the path that I took was picking much shorter courses and specializing in them down the road. So just doing 3-month things. So at some point, what you will find was for these courses, you can get them in institutions like Immobilis itself will offer you some of these courses that you want to specialize in. So you can pick a short course there, get the basics, work your way up. You can get into more advanced courses. If that doesn't work, you can go into fields like online courses. You can go to Udemy, you can go to Coursera. You'll get very many resources in this field. A lot of the things that you need to look at in this area relate to, you can start with Python and R, depending on which one you feel speaks more to you. It seems that people in IT relate more to Python and people with statistics relate more to R, but don't let the generalization stop you from doing what you like. Do short courses in things like Excel, Tableau, Power BI. Those are things that help you with visualization. Think about things like databases, because you need your data to be stored somewhere ultimately, right? So you want to look at things like SQL, MySQL, Oracle, that line of whatever. And then as you advance, now you can look at things like machine learning and things of the sort. In terms of the difference between analytics and data science, I would say it's at the risk of sounding simplistic, it's a paper difference. So what you get is an analyst should be more inclined to looking at past trends and then give the business insights. A scientist, on the other hand, should make models that do future predictions. However, the Kenyan space is not fully developed. So you might find that the organization where you think you're going to be an analyst, you'll be a scientist and vice versa. So to them, to quite a number of organizations, an analyst, a scientist, data engineer, they're interchangeable terms. So don't box yourself up. I guess just figure out what you want and then pick courses online and do projects. Data is everywhere. That's a good thing about data. You can always do projects from random data sets online. So just build yourself to what you want to be long-term, but at the moment, pick whichever path makes the most sense to you.
Thank you, Anne, for that. And what would be your advice to young girls trying to venture into tech as we finalize? What would you advise the young girls that were really, really interested in venturing into the tech space?
Do it. There's a book with cover. I have not read the book. The book's title is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. That's what I will say. Like, you will be scared. You will want to raise your hand. It is shaking, but raise your hand. The biggest opportunities have come when I pushed myself out of my comfort zone, far, far out of my comfort zone. So be scared, but do it anyway. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Don't let all those comments and negative and snide things get into your head. Know you're actually good at your stuff. Work towards it and surround yourself with strong mentors, especially female mentors. They will hold your hand and guide you in things that you thought are unique to you. You will learn that a lot of other people have walked that path. They will help you.
Okay, thank you so much, Anne. We really appreciate your time. I think we have some questions later. If you have time, you can kindly answer our students, but our participants, sorry. We're very, very happy and glad that you're able to share with us your journey and given the best. I think we've learned a lot from your experience and what you've shared with us. As we celebrate the International Girls in ICT Day and our theme being access and safety, I think from what you've told us about data, being a data analyst and data scientist, I think it relates, like we're able to learn and get to experience different, how am I gonna put it? We're able to get a lot from your message. Yeah? So and I thank you so much, Anne. I think I'll next invite our next speaker because of time. Our next speaker will be Nancy Morevi. She's a cybersecurity engineer and program coordinator at SheHacks, Kenya. Nancy, are you there?
Yes. Hi.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. And yourself?
I'm great. I think I've been a bit of my network is a bit off this morning. Funny, we are dealing enough, but I'm hoping it holds. Or if maybe the next speaker can go first, maybe as I try to sort that out. Would that work?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. We are noted on that. I see there are so many questions coming in at the chat section. Yeah, so our next speaker will go right next to our next speaker, who is Wamata Morio. Wamata Morio, maybe I can just give a brief. Wamata Morio is a digital communication specialist. So I will give her the chance to maybe tell us about, introduce herself. Wamata, are you there? Wamata, are you there? Can hear? Oh, yes. Oh, I think today we're having a problem with the audio. Wamata, also we can't hear you very well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, but a bit.
Okay, it's a bit low.
Yeah, but yeah, now much better.
Much better.
Yes.
Now I don't know what's happening to the video. I don't know what's going on with the screen.
But we can see you and hear you clearly.
Oh, you can. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So sorry for the color. I don't know what has happened. Tech things happen. But anyway, we move regardless, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. So yeah, let's get started. Carry on.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you so much, Wamata, for making time to be here with us and celebrate the International Girls in ICT Day and just trying to give knowledge and advise the young women about the tech space. So maybe we can start off by introducing yourself and tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Wamata Morio, and I am a digital communication specialist. So I say digital communication because, okay, the field, what you'll come across in the field is digital marketing, but it doesn't just end at marketing. There's a whole lot of communication that goes beyond the marketing aspect. So I prefer to refer to myself as a digital communication specialist. What do I do? Okay, that's a good question. So the communication is very broad, but in the digital space, at least it has like categories, yeah? So the first thing that I do is website management. We start from there. That means I monitor the content that goes up on the website. I design the landing pages, that is the content for the landing pages. Basically, whatever goes to the website, I make sure I'm on check with that. Second thing is I do search engine optimization. So what that means is I have to make sure that the website ranks very well. If you go to Google and try and search something, you'll see that those results that come on the first page, that those results that come on the second page. So my work is to try and make sure that whatever organization I'm working for, their content can at least appear on the first page, if not on the second, yeah? Then I do search engine marketing and social media marketing. I'm sure most people have come across those terms somewhere. So that basically makes sure that we have a product or a service, we are marketing it using either the search engine, that is Google, or we're marketing it maybe on social media, Facebook, Instagram, sometimes WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Twitter, it depends on the organization. So in a nutshell, basically, think of a digital platform, think of the communication that goes there, think of me doing that communication. That's what I do.
Oh, interesting. So how did you start digital marketing? Is it that you do some training? Did you have to do any certification in the field?
Okay, I think like Anne, I won't say I started by mistake, but I'll say I started by being broke. That's how I started.
Oh,
I started digital communication by being very broke. So that was in 2020. So I was just fresh from uni and COVID had struck. So no jobs. You're in the house and you're thinking, okay, where am I going to get money for my nails? So I started out doing SEO articles. At the time, I didn't know anything about SEO. I was just like, oh, there are things I can write and make money from. Okay, why not? So that's how I started. And then as I was doing the articles, I realized there's something called the SEO. It's actually a whole concept. So search engine optimization is a whole concept. So I got curious. Fortunately, at the time, Algeria Digital had this partnership with Coursera that they were running. So students could register, enroll for courses on Coursera and do them. So I decided to go ahead and enroll for one of the courses from UC Davis, University of California, Davis. So I did the search engine optimization course from there, and I realized, oh my God, there is so much you can do in tech in as far as communication is concerned. So from there, I went ahead. As I was studying search engine optimization, I realized there was digital marketing as well. So I enrolled for another certification again. And then I studied it. And then I realized that I need another certification again from Google. It's good to, I think Anne mentioned it, it's really good to have certifications from reputable organizations. They go a long way. So I did the Google digital marketing certification and the Google ads certification, just so that I could understand the marketing aspect on the search engine and whatever it entails. And then from there, now I think opportunities just started seeping in from LinkedIn. I could see jobs and apply. So I got a really good position to start with from a Swedish firm called Adventures. So they were all about education and technology. And that is where I did a lot of search engine marketing, explored the entire area. And from there, it was just one move to another, to another, to another. So from there, I went to Huawei. From Huawei, I went to Xiaomi. And then right now, I'm just climbing up the ladders, I could say. So that's how I got started.
Very nice and very, and congratulations on the success of all that. So talking about the going up the ladder and becoming noticeable by these big companies, can you just kindly explain to us how can one market themselves online to become that notable?
Okay, so I think I'll start from my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'll start from my own experience. First of all, I should give a disclaimer. I have not done any IT related course in itself. My major in uni was corporate communication, a degree in corporate communication. So when I entered the tech space, I was green as green could possibly be. I did know nothing. So for me, social media was like a place where you go and watch reels, you just cruise over there and go and get memes and all that. I didn't really know how to leverage social media as a brand. Funny enough, despite having done communication, you'd think I would know about the potential of social media in terms of branding and all that. But these are not things they really teach you from uni. So if you've not had someone to show you the loops or just take you through it, you may never really know. So for me, I was very lazy on social media. I still am on a personal perspective. My accounts are pretty much dormant, but that is because I spend a lot of time on organizational accounts. So I rarely have like enough time for my own accounts. But to grow your own brand on social media, number one, it's just to have a plan. You need to plan out. You don't just walk into it like that. You have to have an end goal. I want to say, for instance, I want to have followers who know me professionally. So all those strange people you have following you, you make sure you don't accept the request because they're going to ruin your plan. Or if you like the content that you put up on social media has to reflect the end goal that you want. So you start from a goal, then work backwards towards planning, like how you want that content to represent you or how you want to portray yourself on social media. So the one key trick that I will tell you works for a fact is just have a plan, have an end goal, work backwards from that end goal.
Okay. Thank you for that. So also like the field is very competitive. Like we know everyone is on social media, everyone wants to be an influencer and all these. So how do you ensure that your content is engaging to the audience, and how do you measure your success?
Okay, that sounds like a question like a ton of my employers ask. So what are you really going to do to make sure we are a successful brand? Okay. First thing, like I said, planning is very important. You walk into social media without a plan, you do something for 1 week, by the next week, you don't know what to post, you're posting whatever comes, you're winging it, it doesn't really help. So the first thing to make sure your content remains fresh and vibrant and all that is to have a strategy. First things first, have a strategy. And the second thing, understand the people you're putting this message out to as a brand. You don't talk to everyone as a brand, as snobbish as that might sound, but you can't afford to talk to everyone. I always give this example. You don't see like Mercedes advertising per se. Why don't they do that? It's because they know their clients maybe are not really watching adverts. They are out on red carpets trying to be stunning. So you won't really see them doing ads or all that. Toyota, on the other hand, you will see them doing ads because that's their target market is watching, listening, doing all that. So you need to have a strategy, and then you need to know the audience that you're putting this content out for. That is very, very important. That's how you ensure your content remains relevant, it remains fresh. Yeah. Oh, and then another disclaimer, try not to follow what everyone is doing. Because you'll see most of the time people are telling you company A did this and they're doing well. See, we also do it, but you don't know who company A is targeting or who company B is targeting. So try not to be a copycat. Just do you and do you well. Yeah. That's my advice.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I was about to ask you what are the common content marketing mistakes that come along, and I think one is maybe what you've just said. Don't copy anyone. Any other that might?
Okay, any other? I've already mentioned about planning and having a strategy. So I think those would be the two that I would really focus on. Don't go in without a proper plan. Don't go in without understanding who you're targeting, and just don't be carried around by the wind and the waves of what are happening around you. You can research the trends, find what's relevant to you, but don't just copy and paste everything. It will backfire. It will go bad. It will go very bad.
I see there are so many people on the chat section. Maybe you'll answer them later, but they're very interested in digital marketing, I can see. Maybe what would be your advice to our audience on how to use the social media to grow their brands?
Number one advice, the internet never forgets. The internet never forgets.
So true.
Okay. So I think as young ladies, maybe we might end up using social media for all the weird things. So someone has made you angry and you go on a rant on social media. You post a comment somewhere on Twitter and you forget about it, and it wasn't maybe the best portraying thing about your brand and what your image is all about. You sign up to some site, and I really liked the exercise we did where you Google yourself and you see where you're appearing. Because sometimes you register for sites, you're not even mindful of what you're doing, and then it always appears every time someone searches your name, which is something a lot of employers do these days. So kindly, before you even go big on the whole I'm branding myself thing, be very cautious and calculative about what you put out on social media, because the internet never forgets. So that's my key advice to anyone trying to build a personal brand. The internet never forgets.
Oh, thank you so much, Wamata, for that information. Very, very informative, I must say. And I think there are you have a lot of fans here asking about how they can start the can get into digital marketing and all that. So we really appreciate you, and also they're taking time to share your journey and your knowledge with with our audience. So as of now, we will take a small break. I'll ask my co-moderator, Claire, maybe can just run us a small video, and we really, really appreciate Wamata for your time. Have a good day, and we'll see you at the chat section. Yes. Answering this guy. And also, maybe we'll have a Q&A. If you'll be available, we'll appreciate.
Totally. All my fans just, streaming. Please do that.
Okay. Thank you so much, Wamata. So Claire, to you.
Hi, my name is Meg. I'm a software developer and data scientist. Currently, I work here at Mobilis, where I'm in charge of the data science program, and I also teach other software development courses. My tech journey began about 9 years ago when I joined my university to take a Bachelor of Science in Computer Science, and 4 years later, I joined Mobilis in 2016 to do a program in MIT, which trained us in full stack web development, and that kickstarted my journey in tech. So I landed my first internship where I was able to do softwares which have been used locally. Then after around 2 years, I joined my second company, and that's where my journey in data began. I interacted with a lot of data where we were required to do a lot of data visualizations. We were required to do a lot of data understanding and data preparation. We also tried to develop machine learning models which were to fit the client needs at that time. So my data journey, my interest in data science was sparked, and I was very interested in this field. Later on, advanced my studies where I did a lot of research, and I joined my master's degrees where I was able to learn a lot in the data science program, develop a good portfolio, and then joined Immobilis. So I joined Immobilis. I was training in other software development courses, but also we created a curriculum in data science, and it was a well-researched and well-thought-of program to be able to fit the needs of our market. So the data science program in Immobilis is a 4 to 6 months program. We have an advanced data science program, which is about 6 months, and this is for anyone who is interested to join in the data science field. You don't need to have any background knowledge, because in the advanced program, we are able to teach you the basic programming skills. We are able to teach you the data science, mathematical skills, and then you are able to join into the data analytics and data visualization, and consequently, you are able to learn machine learning. So that is the advanced program. We also have the program that is 4 months, that is for people who at least have been in the field or have a bit of knowledge in programming, where they are able to dive into data preparation, they're able to dive into data analysis, data visualization, and lastly, they're able to do the machine learning, which is also a very core concept in data science. Our program is, skilled in such a way that we focus on a project-based learning, where we teach our students using projects so that they can be able to have a very good portfolio at the end of their learning, and they're able to fit into the market immediately after our program. We also do a lot of research with the data that we train our students with. We work with a lot of data locally, and also we work with global data which is relevant, so that our students have an experience of working with both data that is locally based, and also data that is important for the universe. We also have tailor-made programs for people probably who would want to focus on data analysis or data visualization. So we are able to teach tools such as Tableau and Power BI, so that you can improve these specific fields or these specific skills inside the whole data science course, or the whole data science spectrum. So we welcome you to join in Immobilis, and we are able to learn more and grow with you as you begin your journey.
Okay, thank you so much, Claire, for that, for the videos you played for us, and at least everyone is able to see where we are working from. About Immobilis, as we've explained about Immobilis, they can see actually Immobilis actually exists. So as we celebrate the International Girls in ICT Day, with this year's theme being access and safety for girls and young women to thrive in science. And I just noted that for young girls and young women to thrive in science and technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM in careers, they need safe and reliable access to the internet and digital tools. So with our speakers today, I think they've all touched basically some points where they've given us like how to have access, but in a safe way. So we'll have more speakers. We have also some from Nancy, but she will be speaking later. But for now, I think I'll invite Melissa Mishuki. Melissa, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You okay to go next?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, thank you so much, Melissa, for making time to share with us your journey and advise young women who are interested in joining the tech space. Okay. And as we celebrate today. So kindly introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Well, the question, who you are. I am a student, that's the first thing, I guess. I'm a computer science student at the University of Nairobi. I'm also a data scientist, an alumni of Moringa School. I am also a community lead at several communities which promote diversity and mentorship for people who are beginning in tech or transitioning or just want to learn something new. Yeah, I'm also at the planning.ai ambassador. Yeah.
Nice. So tell us more about your journey in tech and what perceived you to choose to venture into this space.
So all along, I think from the very beginning, I've always been interested in computers. I think that's how everyone starts. You have an interest, but I never really wanted to pursue computer science. I mean, I had other dreams. I think I wanted to become a doctor. Another time, I wanted to become a genetic engineer. These careers keep on changing. But towards the end of my Form 4, I was doing computer studies, and I think we were having several symposiums, and I got a partial scholarship from Immobilis at one point, but don't know, it's just preference, I think, for my father. And then after that, I think when I finished Form 4, it was more of like looking for something to fill in your time. So what everyone is doing packages or doing, I don't know, anything else, I decided, let me choose a technical thing to do. From the beginning, I thought I wanted to do software development. And then after sitting down with some people and asking around, I think I did do my research before I decided to enroll for a data science course. I decided, let me just do it. It was not easy. I cannot say it was easy because there was a lot of statistics that was involved, and you're coming from a place, from high school, you don't have that much knowledge on statistics. I think the other challenge was you don't know how to code. You just beginning. It's not, you don't really have that much knowledge. So sometimes you'd have long nights trying to study and try and catch up with everyone. I think we were just two students, the youngest of the whole group, the last ones per se. So we were the youngest. So everything is just oh, there's this algorithm, and then you're no, you don't understand. But then you push on, and then you ask your fellow mates, and then you kind of get the gist. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I think other than that, I think the other skills that you just gain along the way, but it was not an easy thing. And then finally, I think after the end of the program, I just joined my computer science degree. Yes.
Okay. Also, I think I'll ask and the same question, like, but for you, like, what are the challenges that you face as a woman in the tech space?
I think I'd rather generalize that question as to anyone. Just as Anne had said, the first problem is yourself. So there's always that thing of imposter syndrome. You're always questioning what you know. Because I think there's so many times when I live in, like, it's a small task. It's not that hard really, but I think because you feel like maybe you don't have enough knowledge, so you're just like calling your mentors, and then you're like, oh, how do you go about this? Oh, how do you go about this? Or even like sometimes you just sit down and maybe you feel overwhelmed, and then when you look at the challenge, and then you're like, oh wait, I've never done this before, and this is how you're actually supposed to go about it. Another thing is, I think, not necessarily an everyday thing. It's like the consistency to always keep on learning. So you pick up something and then you feel like you go 1, 2, 3 days, and then you get stuck at one point, and then you're just like, I think I'll just leave this project. So you're always having a new project, untitled. And it's not a fun thing to do. I think one thing is just working on your consistency. I don't think so far, because I'm currently not working because of studying, I can't manage both working and studying. But when I do some like small gigs here and there, you always find like balancing time is always not an easy thing to do, because you have your own workload on this side, and then like also just generally you're supposed to chip in at home, and then I think also now the workload, maybe you're not so sure about how to go about the challenge that you have, and then I think most of the time it's usually solved by just getting on a call with someone, maybe dissecting the task, and then like you're like, okay, I can go about this. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you can just tell the audience, like, I know you're very passionate about data science. We've had you visit us and talk to our students sometime, and they were very excited. And you really made some of them decide, oh, this is the path I want to go. Maybe you can tell our audience as well, as in, how does one become a data scientist?
There are many ways to go about it. I think just the same way as Anne had said, you can come from a statistic background, you can come from a technical background. And then there are two ways you can go about it. You can choose to go the bootcamp way. I think that's for mainly people who want that sort of structure. And sometimes maybe if you have the money, there are free bootcamps, and then there are also paid bootcamps. So if you have the money, you can subscribe to them. I personally feel like having a structure is very, very important. But again, we're in a time when getting into tech is so easy. So like there are so many tutorials on YouTube, there are so many resources, there are so many places which are offering like the DataCamp workspace, so you get to learn easily. I think there are programs by Ingressive for Good. What else? There is Coursera. If you're a student, you can just do the Coursera. You can sign up for a Coursera for Students plan, and then you just learn data science. But I usually say that if you're going to get into it, like you self-learn alone. I mean, everyone does do some self-learning, but then if you're the one who's just chosen, you're not gonna do a boot camp, you're just gonna figure it out on your own. It's good to have a mentor to help you plan out how you're going to go about it, because the one thing that you'll always face, especially when you're learning tech, there's so much that you can get in, that you can learn, that you get into a point that you get burnt out. So having a mentor to help you structure out what you really need to do, and then like having a mentor is very, very essential, because they tend to tell you, okay, when I was learning, I found, and then in the very end, when I get into the industry, I found that this was not essential. So you get to jump over, like you get to have like a quick overview. So you don't have to learn, oh, this, and this. You just have to have like a personal guide of which things that I wish I knew earlier when I was getting into something like this. And I think it's easy that way. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, thank you for that. So maybe last, you can just a closing remark on what's your advice to the young women who want to venture into data science or the STEM in general. What would you advise them?
There's this book. I don't remember the full title. But I'm not an expert. So most of the time when we get into like learning, we're really scared about sharing what we know or what we can do. And I think it's just stemming from imposter syndrome. So share your knowledge. It's not a must for you to be an expert. Always reach out to people. You'll be surprised at how many people will be willing to help you. And it's also a matter of how you approach them. It's not just approaching them. So learn how to communicate with people. It always works out in the very end. You might feel like the progress that you're making is not heading anywhere, but it always works out in the end. I think that's pretty much it. And do as many projects, and then don't really get into a space where you have fixed your mind that it is this or this only. Because right now I'm even finding myself having to learn like web development because of my course, and then I'm getting interested about new things that I'm learning. So don't really fix yourself. You have to go through a lot of things before you finally say, okay, this works for me. And you'll always transition into something new. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, Melissa. As in, I think being a student and having this so much passion about mentorship and all that is very good. And at least you're encouraging the young women out there to also follow your footsteps. Yeah, so we really appreciate your time and your inspiring talk to the audience. And we are hoping that you'll stay with us for the Q&A session at the end of that's okay? Thank you so much, Lisa. Okay, thank you. So we'll go next to our next speaker, Nancy. I'm sure now you had mentioned you're okay now. Are you good to go, Nancy?
Okay, yeah, sure. I think I'm ready. Just a minute, I turn on my video. Okay, I hope you can see me.
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if I'm visible or.
We can't really see you. Yeah, we can't see you yet, Nancy.
Okay, because I have joined with 2 devices. So
let me just confirm.
Maybe if anyone else can see me.
Claire, are you able to see Nancy?
Not yet. We can't see her. We can hear her, but we can't see her.
Sorry.
Yeah, we can't see you.
Okay. Hi everyone. Hi. So my name is Nancy. I think maybe you can start. I think I'm ready.
Oh, you're ready? Yeah, Nancy. And we can just dive into it. Nancy, maybe you can just kindly introduce yourself, tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay. Okay, let me just switch. Just a minute.
You can kindly unmute. Nancy, you can unmute kindly. We can't hear you.
Okay. Hi.
Yeah, we can clearly hear you and see you now.
Okay, thank you. So like I said, let me just start with the introduction. First, I'll comment the previous speakers. I know Melissa personally, and it's been amazing seeing her grow. And yeah, my name is Nancy Moretti. I'm a cybersecurity engineer. I also work as a coordinator, programs and operations at Shihaks Kenya. Well, I also do mentorship at M-Pesa Foundation Academy. So I think basically that's it. I'm all cybersecurity oriented, if I may say so. Yeah, so I think that's it in a nutshell.
Okay. So Nancy, as this year's theme for International Girls in ICT Day is more access and safety. So I think you will let us know a little bit about how we can create a safe and reliable access space for these young people who want to dive into the STEM field. Yeah. So, but maybe you can also kindly tell us about your journey in cybersecurity. What courses did you pursue, and why did you choose to venture into this specific journey?
Okay, I find that a very interesting question. First of all, a very huge disclaimer: I'm not one of those people who was born knowing I'll do cybersecurity. You know, you meet those people who say, "I knew I'll do security ever since I was 6, ever since I was like 10 years." Well, that was not the case for me. I knew I loved tech. I knew I loved things to do with computers, but I wasn't so sure what exactly I wanted to do, because again, tech, okay, because again, oh, it's fine. Because again, tech is quite the wide domain. So I joined campus, and I remember campus for me was quite the transition phase, because like Melissa said, you'll have a number of like, for example, if you're taking an IT course, right? You'll have like you'll do so many things incorporated as units. You'll do networking, you'll do programming. So for me, it was quite confusing, because I would go for talks and I would meet maybe a software dev or a software engineer. And then when they're there talking about what they do and stuff, how they've made it. And then when I'm seated, I'm like, wow, okay, I really want to be that, So I go back to school and decide I really want to do coding, I want to be a programmer and all that. I take that up for a while till the next talk. The next conversation I have, I meet someone in data science or a data analyst. And then I'll be like, leave aside software development. I actually want to do data science now. So it was quite confusing for me, I would say, because I've seen someone comment they're in school, or maybe they're taking up a course and they don't know how they don't know what to pick. We've been there. Honestly, I've been there. So what happened was I took up networking. I did networking for a while. And then I remember the very first certification I did, I decided I did it as a unit, but I felt like, wow, networking is interesting. And I remember at the time I had like a few extra time back then. I think I was in my second year. And I decided I'll take up CCNA, the Cisco course for networking. So I took that up. I did networking. I remember we were a class of around 45, that first class. And back then CCNA was CCNA 1 up to 4. So I did that. In the room, we were about 10 ladies in that class for CCNA. So it was enjoying, it was nice. Now we had speakers from Cisco come to give us talks, how to create a path as a network engineer. So at the time I'm like, wow, I'm really enjoying networks. I did that, I think, for like one entire semester. And then after that, actually, I think how I got to say security was more out of curiosity. I was like, well, I can manage networks, I can do all these things. But what if actually someone decided to take this down? So I think my passion I think it mostly grew from questions. I had like so many questions like, if I was a bad guy, how exactly would I do this, you know? And yeah, from then I took up Cisco. There's a certification they have, cyber operations, so cyber ops. So I did that certification. And funny thing, we were about around 35 to around 40. I can't remember very well. But in that class, I was, by the time we finished that course, we were about 30. And I was like the only girl. Like I think my lecturer, I was appointed a class rep. They think the lecturer just did that because you're like the only female in the class, yeah? So I was like, wow, I think by the time I finished cyber ops, I was like really fully into cybersecurity. So I met my mentor back then. I was still in campus. I got my first job, and it's been a learning curve, I think, from there.
Interesting. And I like that everyone, I'll tell you for sure, the chat section, everyone wants you to mentor them. And also the other, I can see everyone just like, I want to be mentored. Melissa, can you mentor me? Nancy, I would like you to mentor me kindly, because I think I need to venture into cybersecurity. That is Naira Chipson. Hey, interesting, Nancy, about your journey. So maybe you can also just explain to us how does one actually get into be a cybersecurity engineer? Are they, okay, as you mentioned, some certifications required? Is there a full course that you can take somewhere to become a cybersecurity engineer?
Well, first of all, I would say there's no curated path to get into cybersecurity, because maybe there's someone here who's done data science, you've done software dev, maybe front, back, full stack. The beauty of cybersecurity, you can actually join the field from any domain you're from. So the advice that I give, I won't tell you if you're doing software, I'm telling you, no, you have to forget everything you know about coding, and you have to like come into cybersecurity afresh. My advice would be you use the skills that you have, because I know you have something. It might not be necessarily security majored, but I know you have something. Like myself, I had skills in networking. And actually, the funny thing is networking, programming, regardless of the field that you are in, you can actually leverage the skills that you have in the field that you are to get into cybersecurity. So I wouldn't say, especially to be a cybersecurity engineer. Being a cybersecurity engineer means you are able to identify vulnerabilities and be able to help organizations, give them curated solutions to actually overcome. And you know, the one thing about cybersecurity is, for one, cybersecurity has like expanded, has grown from being tied to the IT department. You know, back then, only IT people worried about if a company is secure, if a solution, if a product, if a service you're giving is secure. But right now, cybersecurity has actually moved to boardrooms. You'll have managers, CEOs, you know, they're not even tech savvy, but their worry is, are we safe? And in security, we say 100% safety or 100% security is an illusion. There's nothing like that. Because what we say, we actually have this line that we say, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's eventually going to happen. So because with new technology, definitely comes new risks, right? So, and that's why you have we have new domains in cybersecurity coming up, like DevSecOps. Basically, that's just incorporating security in the development process. So I would say, for one, leverage the skills that you have, start from there. And you can, better to be in cybersecurity, you don't have to like have extreme genius levels. People mistake that, like you have to be like a genius. And you know, there's also a lot of misinformation about what cybersecurity is all about. Most people tell them you're in cybersecurity. Like, for example, I'll give an example. My mom doesn't understand what I do. She'll be like, my daughter is a hacker and that's all she knows, you know? But when you say that, people have this mental picture at the back of their minds. What we see in the movies, right? Like someone with a hoodie and behind in a dark room, behind screens, and just like typing away. And cybersecurity, people find wearing suits, and it's actually a very interesting career, because for one, there will be new things to deal with every other day, So to get started, there are certifications. Certifications vary definitely with the level of expertise. You have a beginner, intermediate, you have expert level. But I know if you're a student, certifications must be quite a stretch. It's not easy. We have certifications like OSCP, it's around 150,000 or 100,000. We have CH, it's around 70,000. So me coming on this platform and telling you need CH to get started, I would be lying, because actually myself, I'm preparing for CH right now. So my advice is cybersecurity is all around. Like I said, the way it's easy for you to get into cybersecurity from any area, meaning you have to know a little bit of everything. And another misinformation, you have to be an expert programmer. Myself, I don't like coding. Sorry, software developers in the call. I don't enjoy coding, but I can read code. I can understand code, but I know I'm not really excited about sitting down and when I actually meet people in events or just have conversation with software engineers, Android devs, and I'm like, well, how do you guys do this? Because myself, when I actually took training. I think that was last year. I took some classes, some coding classes, and you're expected to create an application, and and then I'm having bugs, like almost cried because and I'm like, how do people deal with this, especially in the work setting? How do you manage to deal with it? So if you're a software dev, if you code, I actually respect you so much. So that's another misconception. You don't have to be an expert in coding, but you need to be able to understand and read code. And there's something called scripting. Scripting basically is just writing lines of code to help you run tests. So basically, if you can do that, like basically just beginner or intermediate level, you are at a good place. Actually knowing how to code makes you better at what you do, but it's not really a requirement, because we also have domains in cybersecurity that don't require coding like at all. If you're doing GRC, governance, risk and compliance, you're dealing with policies, audits. For such a person, I don't need to know how to code any line of code, So I would say there's no like one curated path. My advice is leverage the skills that you have and start from there. Also, it's easy. When you're getting started in security, there's so many domains. There's web, there's network. We have application test, application security. We have cryptography. Like there's so many things in cybersecurity as a field itself. So if you're getting started, try and do a little bit of everything. If you're not sure what exactly to start with, if maybe, for example, if you've done web development, my advice would be start with web security. It will be easier for you to grasp that, because you already know the back end of what a website or such an application entails. You've done the code, yeah. It'll be easier for you to be able to check for vulnerabilities in such an instance. So my advice, leverage on the skills that you have. Certifications are there, but you can get them over time, because you'll never stop learning. Anyway, you have to make peace with that. You'll not know everything. You'll always be learning. So yeah.
Interesting. I can see so many people, so other speakers can actually relate to your story that most of our parents don't understand about these things. I see Wamata was called a socialite. Sorry. So you talked about, once I think I heard you talk about bad guys, hacking. So would you kindly just tell us more about what is ethical hacking? How can we differentiate, as in what is ethical and what is not what is unethical?
Okay. ethical hacking, I would say we have different types of hackers. We have ethical hacking is called white hat hacking, which is basically what we do if you're in the cybersecurity space. What happens is organizations call you in. If maybe you're not centered to like one organization, you can be a pen tester, meaning organizations call you in for you to do pen test. Pen test basically is doing maybe hacking, but you've been authorized to do so. Like an organization like Safaricom or a bank or any case calls you in, tells you you can hack us. You know, you have like documentation, you sign and all that. You have like signed those NDAs, meaning I won't find a vulnerability in Equity Bank and go telling everyone, you know. So what that means, ethical hacking is whereby it's legal. You are allowed to, you have been invited to do that. It's part of what you do. So most people find that line a bit blurry because there are people who want to hack, especially you've seen Safaricom having that issue a lot, bundles and, you know, and I tell you, getting into cybersecurity, it needs a lot of ethics because it can be thrilling. Honestly, I'll say it blankly, it can be thrilling knowing you have the skills to do these things. But again, having the discipline not to do them, you decide to do it in an ethical way, goes a long way. Because I remember the very first, I was learning, of which I don't advise people to do that. While I was learning, I actually, you know, trying to like master your skills and all that. You know, back they're actually sites, we call them CTFs, whereby you're allowed to hack, but in a simulated environment, meaning you don't have to take down anyone's company to see how good you are. So back then I accidentally, it was an internet provider, and the thrill is just there, especially when you're very new. And you're able to hack someone's phone, you know, someone's Wi-Fi. It can be thrilling, you know, and you might feel like, wow, I actually want to do this. Now I'll hack a bank next. But actually right now, cybercrime is something that can actually get you jailed or with very high penalties. So there are black hat hackers. Those are people we see in the movies, people who are behind screens, you know, hacking for the malicious intent, whether they want to steal, whether they want to they want to get like information in a certain organization or a person. And no, I think cybersecurity should be everyone's burden, because we have seen stories of someone Instagram, someone's Facebook, someone's phone has been hacked. So it's not really tied to an organization. You can be hacked even as a person. So the line is these people who do that, and you know, they're, like I said, there are different types of hackers. We have the white hat hackers, which is like the job itself. We have the black hat hackers, which are the people who hack for malicious intent, to steal, to like do all that. We also have script kiddies. Script kiddies is someone who will hack your email, hack your phone, but they don't necessarily have the skills. They have like watched a YouTube tutorial, or someone told them like, if you do this and do that, like we have people every other day. It's something I think I deal with every other day, like hack my boyfriend's phone, hack my girlfriend's Insta, you know. And if you say no, they'll be like, well, I'll go and do this. You might find someone like that even on social media. They'll tell you, I can hack your phone, I can hack someone's Insta or Facebook or whatever the case, but they don't have the skills. They're not necessarily skilled to do so. They just try, and their kiddies, right? Like they're very new in the field. They don't have the skills, but they kind of take scripts, watch YouTube videos, and actually do some of these things. So I think we also have like some of I do also part-time bug bounties. Bug bounties basically is whereby I find vulnerabilities in sites. They're curated programs for that. I don't just hack a company. I don't just, even Safaricom has that program whereby Safaricom gives you you sign up and all that. Once you're approved, they allow you to find vulnerabilities in the organization, and they actually pay you for that. So if you cybersecurity, you don't have to like be on a 9 to 5 p.m. kind of job. You can actually do that. Be a bug bounty hunter, which is good money if you ask me. You know, you can do that at the comfort of your home, and it's like worldwide. So they have platforms like HackerOne, whereby I've had people who have even bagged like euros and almost 400,000, like just one bag, because it depends with the severity of the vulnerability. So if you're getting to join cybersecurity, again, my advice would be make sure you understand what exactly you want to do. Don't just get to cybersecurity to hack your girlfriend's phone, your boyfriend's phone, you know, someone's ATM or someone's ATM pin or someone's bank, because after you do that, let's say in a simulated scenario, you are able to do that, then what's next? You know, so yeah.
Oh, very interesting. I see people are really interested in this hacking. Yeah. But as Nancy has said, we're just doing ethical hacking. So Nancy, I think I remember as you're introducing yourself, you said you double as a cybersecurity engineer and a program coordinator at SheHacks. Yeah. So maybe you can tell us more about SheHacks and what kind of projects that you run.
Okay. Actually, I have the t-shirt on, so I'll be happy to give you one as the host. So as a program, maybe I'll talk about what SheHacks is all about. So SheHacks Kenya it's an organization here in Kenya. It was founded in 2016, and it's been running. We have two founders, Laura Teach and Evelyn Kilel. They are the forebearers of what SheHacks is all about. So what we deal with is basically it's to help and support women in cybersecurity. And yes, I know the next question is people ask, why don't we have HeHacks? We don't have that, but well, that was like the idea behind SheHacks, yeah, to kind of deal with the gender disparity between, because you'll go in an organization, especially in cybersecurity, maybe even on this call, I would ask you how many women you know in cybersecurity. Very few. Very few. You know. Yeah, so we try come up with, that was like the idea behind it, to help women know we are here. There are women doing things, what you're doing or what you want to do. And we kind of help you get the support and the skills. We are a community we've been running since 2016, like I said. But for our programs, we are not gender-based, right? We try have both genders for our programs. So we run different programs. With that, we have the high school program. The high school program basically is us going to different high schools, mainly for career talks, mentor these students, because we have students doing computer studies, or even students maybe who are not they don't have computer studies in their school, but they want to do something related to IT. So we help the students know this and this, you'll find this and that, and how do you leverage what you know? How do you get started? Because again, it's never too early to get started. You can build your passion from where you are. The confusion we had getting to campus, you don't know what you want to do. We have people who didn't even do IT related degrees or diplomas or everything, but they are in IT. So how do we cater for these students? How do you tell them, regardless of where you are, you can't be able to do this? You know, so that's basically what we deal with for the high school program. We also have the campus program, which is what I actually started with. I'm a KU alumni. So when I was in KU, I started having sessions like training a few students here and there in cybersecurity. And then I remember back then, that's when I knew the founders for SheHacks, you know, so I meet them, and I like what the previous speaker said, the importance of having a mentor, because when you're very new to something, you'll have like so many jumbled ideas. you know, you'll want to like do this and do that. But what a mentor does, if you're a mentor here or if you're a mentee, what a mentor should do for you is to help you, not necessarily tell you, you have to do this, you have to like follow this path, because again, you might realize the career, your pathway might not necessarily be the same as your mentor's pathway. You don't have to like copy paste who they are or what they did to like get there, but what they do is kind of help you curate everything, the ideas that you have, help you have a roadmap, you know, so that you don't find yourself being a jack of all trades and a master of none. You learn in everything. For example, like if you're in dev, there are so many languages. For example, I have sat in interviewing devs for jobs, and you'll see someone's CV, they have like 15 languages or 10 languages, and you're like, you've not done any project with this, you know. So what happens is they actually know much, but they're not really a master in a certain area, right? So it's the same thing when it comes to cybersecurity. That's what I meant I should do. So I realized my pathway, it's still security, but her pathway was not the same. Like she left campus, joined EY, joined Safaricom. She's now at Microsoft. So you see, if you might feel like cybersecurity is not your thing, or if your path is not the same as your mentors, which is wrong. You don't have to like copy paste who they are. So yeah, so that's what we do at SheHacks. We have the campus program, like I said. So for the campus program, right now we are supporting around 37 universities countrywide in the different 8 regions, and a total of around 130 ambassadors countrywide. So we figured there's quite a mismatch between what you get in campus and what actually the industry needs or what the industry has to offer. You know, for example, if you're here and you're doing computer science or IT or whatever the case, you realize if you're doing, even if you have a cybersecurity unit, for example, you can't, if you're a new fresh graduate and you go to a cybersecurity company for a role or for a cyber role, you realize there's quite like a gap. So we figured we would come in and help the students be a merge. And again, impact is hard, especially with dealing with so many universities like countrywide. So we had ambassadors, we have ambassadors there, we have applications every other year. So we had ambassadors apply. I did the screening, I chose, we picked them. So what we do is help the students gain the technical and the non-technical skills to get into cybersecurity, like just an add-on to what they already know, the skills that they have. Well, how exactly do we merge? How exactly do I leverage what you know to what from an employer's view? So we help them again, non-technical. I would really like to emphasize on that, because don't be just really good behind the screens. You have to know how to talk non-tech. You have to be able to, because you will find yourself, especially if you're a techie, if you have been in a boardroom or if you've met very senior people, they might not really, managers, they might not really be so tech savvy. So how exactly do you explain a solution to them, you know? So we kind of help the students get that. We have conferences, we have summits. We also have boot camps. We have sessions actually twice a week, which is on Tuesday and Thursday, just to help the students be able to feel more included in these sessions, and also help them connect to professionals in the field. We also have kids online protection training programs, basically to help kids, especially because right now you'll find a 10-year-old with a phone, you know, which is not something we had. So we help these kids know you can be bullied, these things can happen. The internet is not such a safe space like we thought back then. And we also help parents. We train parents on how to know, how do you help your kid to be safe online. So we run a number of programs. We are open to collaborations again. So yeah, I say that's it about SheHacks, and basically that's some of the programs that I run. Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much, Nancy. Yeah, it's quite interesting about your journey. It has had many people have really gotten encouraged, and also the fact that you also work in an initiative that actually is trying to encourage more women to get into the cybersecurity. For sure, I think I also know very, very few women in cybersecurity, and I'm in the tech field. So, Nancy, any parting shot that you'd like to give the people who are interested in in getting into cybersecurity, or women that want to get into tech?
Well, I'll second what I think Anne said. Do it and do it afraid. Don't wait till that time you feel like super confident, because funny thing is, especially I like the talk about imposter syndrome. It's something you'll always have to be dealing with, because imposter syndrome is triggered by things like new opportunities, change. So do that. If you're applying for jobs, go all out. You know, we've had so many rejections, myself included, but don't let that deter you. Don't let that define how good you are. Don't wait, because I had that notion when I was getting started, like I need to be this good to actually even land an intern role in security, but that's not the case. Again, for anyone in tech, I think it's also very important to realize you'll not know everything. Honestly, make peace with that fact, because you'll go somewhere. I can be in a room whereby I'm with other cybersecurity personnel, and they mention things that I know I'm not so good at. For example, in security, I know there are areas I'm not so strong at. For example, forensics, just an example, you know, like what you see in the movies, the crime happens and they come to take fingerprints and all that. I know it's a field, I know a thing or two, but I know I'm not so strong when it comes to that area. So again, make peace with that fact, but don't be complacent. Just know, if I don't know this, you can actually take that time to learn. No one was born knowing these things. Honestly, no one was born. And that's why I really like telling people and being honest that I was not born knowing I'll be a cybersecurity engineer someday. You know, it's just a series of time. Being patient with yourself as well. You might not grasp everything at the time frame other people did. It's okay. It's okay. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. Be patient with yourself. And I've seen so many comments and questions. I think I'll leave that to the hosts to kind of guide us on how to do that.
Okay, I think we'll have a Q&A session if you'll be available.
Okay, sure. Sure.
Yeah, sure. So we can. Thank you so much, Nancy. Very interesting, very informative. Like it's just amazing how far you've come, and very good to hear that there are more women joining in the cybersecurity field. So thank you so much for your time, and I think now we can jump into our next speaker. I'll invite my co-moderator, Claire. Maybe you can take over.
Thank you very much, Madam Wangui. So I'll be taking over our last speaker of the day. I think it has been a very exciting day with all our speakers. And now we move on to our final speaker. Her name is Mercy Kiptui. She's an online business owner. I don't know how many of us know Nywele Nyumbani, but she's the co-founder. Now I'd like to invite Mercy. Mercy, are you here with us?
Yes. I hope you can hear me.
Yes. Great. Yes, we can hear you. Hi, Mercy, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Pardon the background noise. I'm a bit up and down, but I'm so glad to be here.
Mercy? Mercy seemed to have frozen a bit. Let's just give her a few minutes. Mercy, can you hear me? Mercy, I think maybe network where she might be. So let's just give her a few minutes to reconnect so that we can be able to hear from her. Yeah, she dropped off the call. Just a few minutes so that she can reconnect. But I can already see some, we have quite a number of questions in the chat. So after this, we'll be having the Q&A. So our panelists are here. They'll be taking your questions. I can see quite a number of them already on the chat. I can see quite a number on cybersecurity, hacking, and a lot of things. But yeah, we'll just be tackling that in a few minutes. So just trying to see if our last speaker has joined, just a few. Okay, so maybe we can proceed with the Q&A as we wait for our last speaker. So I'll just try and scroll to the very first questions we had. And in case I skip any, I know our participants are very ready to remind me. So let me just go to the very top. Just a minute. As I try and see the first question we had. Okay, LinkedIn. Okay. I think I answered this question for Florentina Sheikh, where she was asking about, are there any chances of getting a job after training in the institution? So for us as Immobilis, we always get requests from our partners, from our clients to refer students in a specific, maybe if they want people who are skilled in Python or Android or cybersecurity. So we have a portal, an alumni portal, whereby we ask all participants to upload their GitHub profile and then just upload their profiles. So this is what enables us to forward to partners and clients so that they're able to choose a suitable candidate for that. The next question we had was Joseph Monti, kindly recap on the data science prerequisites. So I think this was this is our first speaker, Anne, who talked about this. So if we could kindly have Anne or Melissa to just answer this question. Kindly recap on the data science prerequisites. Anne Mwangi, if you're with us, maybe kindly.
Hey, hi Claire.
Yes, hi.
So data will depend on what you want to specialize in. The ones that I touched on were try and find something in local universities and local colleges, Immobilis, JKUAT, UON, Technical University. They have courses that cover this. If you choose to go the online platform, look at Coursera and Udemy. You can start with the basics, which will be Microsoft Excel. You can look at visualization tools like Power BI and Tableau. can look at things like Python and R. You can also look at machine learning, artificial intelligence. Think about databases where you'll store your data, so SQL, Oracle, MySQL, and then now you can build it up from that point and go along.
Okay, thank you very much, Anne. I hope that answers your question, Joseph. Secondly, we have Edda asking, where can we get mentors who can guide us through? So I heard Melissa really talked about mentors. Nancy did the same. So maybe Melissa, kindly, tell our audience where they can reach out to mentors.
Hi, I think mentors can be found in very many places. You can get one from LinkedIn. You see, like, find like whatever that they're doing out there is what you want to do, what you aspire to do. So you can reach out to them, try and be as formal as possible. Okay, I'm not saying, like, try and approach them in a nice way. That's one thing. You can get them from attending events that are there, meetups like this one. You can get them from reference from other people who know people in the industry. And I think also in communities, like join communities which are revolving around this particular thing. So if maybe you're interested in, there are so many in data science. I think if you're interested in Angular, there's Angular. If you're interested in Android, there's Android. There are meetups for Android. So once you get into these communities, you get to know people who are actually who are doing things out there, and then you actually get a place where, okay, so I have a blog, I have been doing this, and this, and it's not working. You can just post, so I'm getting this error. Is anyone free? Jump on a call, they help me out, or like, what is the solution to this? And you'll find, like, once you have a community to support you, it's so easy to navigate through various things. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I hope that answers the question. So I can see a speaker has just joined us. Let me see if she's able to hear us. Hi, Mercy. Can you hear us?
Yes. Hi.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry. My internet.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, it's okay. Okay, yes. Let's dive right in, Mercy. So yeah, just kindly introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Okay, so hi guys. My name is Mercy Kiptui. I am an engineer by profession, an electronic actually, and a startup builder by passion. So I'm an alumni of JCOT, where I pursued a STEM career in electrical and electronics engineering. And thereafter, I decided to launch Nywele Nyumbani, a beauty tech platform and startup based here in Nairobi, Kenya. So what we do are basically the Uber for hair and beauty, and we cater for a very interesting demographic, men and women. And we actually impact a good number of people, and that's our beauty service providers. So even before COVID came, the market was calling for convenience in this specific sector. We were actually the first, one of the first on the ground here in Kenya to actually do this. And we just put convenience when we brought beauty. So when COVID hit, our service providers, we call them our stylists, our beauty service providers, they were able to actually diversify their income and actually earn something that wasn't tied to how many people were able to make it to their stores physically, or where they could get, like, we opened up a whole new market, a whole new avenue, we opened up a whole new type of beauty ecosystem. Yeah, so we cater to women, men, children, the entire family. We have stylists who are men and women, even though women make up 80 to 90% of our demographic. And yeah, so we're able to impact both sides and actually do it sustainably and through technology. So I have heard some of what has been said here, and it's really interesting. I love the advice of just starting, because Like that's it. Sometimes you just have to start. You take the leap of faith and you start. And definitely along the way, there are challenges. I will tell you, considering, you know, I saw the topic and I was so impressed by how many of you, and I'm seeing someone is in Form 4, someone is where, and they're in STEM or they're interested in STEM. And it's a really interesting field. When I went to university, of course, I went there saying, in physics, this computer, this is what brought me here. But it's definitely more than that. And there is a disparity. You'll go to class and you will find out of 120 girls, 20 women, yeah? So there is definitely a disparity in the gender aspect when it comes to STEM. There have been efforts to bridge it, but things are still not, I will tell you at a ground, things are not what we would love them to be right now, in workplace, you'll notice as you go. However, the potential is amazing. One thing that I love about tech is the ability to see further the eye can, where your eye can reach, to really think beyond what you can do. The very fact that we are a virtual beauty space, a virtual beauty hub, a virtual beauty platform has taken us places I would not have imagined, definitely could not have reached. We serve people across, in and around Nairobi, and we're planning to expand. And that's because of even the requests we get, people wanting to know here, wanting to know there. And when I think about it, this is not something you can achieve in the physical, but what technology has done is amazing. And our emerging technology, if you talk about just AI, machine learning, there are so many things. And the best thing about it, right now with Google, you don't have an excuse to not really go for what you want. Yeah, you're able to actually start that course. Yeah, you can go to Coursera. EDX is great for those who are entering into tech. And just learn. So those are the for challenges. It's definitely, it's still male majorly. Yeah, it's a male sector majorly. As a startup founder, definitely the challenges that come with that. You're pitching to men about beauty. Sometimes it takes more explanation than you would imagine. But numbers don't lie. So that will always be a common denominator, no matter the breakdown, no matter who you're pitching to. There are definitely challenges, but it can be definitely rewarding. I am a social impact entrepreneur. Yeah, I'm a social impact entrepreneur. And when I think about that, even as we are for profit, I really look at the impact, and sometimes that's what keeps us going. When we are changing lives of students who are braiding hair on the side, when we're changing lives of mothers, of fathers, of men who don't have employment. And you know, employment in Kenya is a whole thing. Over more than 1 million Kenyans were actually registered as unemployed in 2019. I don't even want to imagine the number now. Yeah, so that's part of, it's a challenge, but also the pros. And for those who are actually thinking, I'm seeing so many students, please, 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 if you are in high school, definitely find what avenue. You don't expect to know all that you want to do right now. It's never that simple. Yeah, a lot of people really don't know what they want to do. But you can find a broad area in what you're actually passionate about and go for it. Just do your best. And I usually believe God does the rest. Yeah. As for people who are in campus, please use this time. Don't go to class and then, hey, please. Don't go to class and then go home. Don't go home and watch that series alone. As you watch that series, able to schedule that 1 hour for your Coursera, for your EDX, for your Udemy, for your what, learn that course. If it's web development, learn it. If it's program management, learn it. There's so many, and it doesn't even actually have to be a coding job. I loved what the speaker before me said, Nancy. You mentioned about different aspects in tech, and it's true. It's true. It doesn't have to be a coding job, but definitely, yeah, that series. Pause it, go learn that course, because once you finish, you'll want something that you've actually majored in. You can dabble in a number of them, but try to become a master in at least one. So if you've done web, you've done mobile development, and then you stumble across artificial intelligence, ebu kaa hapo, na kama unaipenda kaa hapo, major in it, sit down and go through all the free courses. There are so many. Like, I'm amazed. You don't even need a certificate, you need the skills. And then after that, here's another tip that they don't tell you a lot: get experience. So you'll go to even the big firms, whatever firm that you're applying for. And yes, you have these skills, you'll have listed all these courses you did for free everywhere. But then, did you ever apply it? Where are your projects? Where are your projects? If you're a mobile app developer, your apps, are they on Play Store? How are they? How's the user interface? What's the feedback that you've gotten? Where's your work? Yeah. So if, like, for example, what I'll tell you, I've learned there's always room. If you need an opportunity to practice a skill that you have, you will find it. And the first internship can be unpaid, but trust me, the second one, what you use that experience for is what matters. Because if you're even looking for big companies, they definitely ask, and this is something that I know, they'll ask, so what projects have you done? Tell me about this, tell me about that. And they want to see application, they want to see your passion about something. And yeah, so that's my 2 bits. I hope I've helped someone. I hope I've helped someone.
You really have.
Of course.
In fact, you've almost answered all the questions I had. You've talked about your challenges, which was my next question. You've even given them advice. So my other question would be, now that you've talked about, the many challenges that you're facing, especially being a founder of an online business. I know right now the market is very competitive. You have so many business online. So, if you were given the opportunity to work in an organization that is paying much higher than what your current business is bringing you right now, would you be willing to leave your job, your current the place you founded, for this other new job that is better paying, better everything? Are you willing to do that?
So I will tell you, that's a very situational question. I happen to be in an innovator group that basically has founders from all over Kenya. It's really interesting. And we actually had, this discussion on the forum about where employment fits into our startup journey. Because, and actually that's a correction I should make. We're not really a business. A business and a startup there are quite a number of differences. A business is a stall that you set up, and in 6 months, it's either you make profit or you say that it's unattainable. A startup is a dream, but it's really pushed with a bigger narrative at where you're going. I mean, when you look at a company like Uber is still a startup. They define themselves as a startup. Here's the interesting fact. They've been in operations for more than 11 years. And the thing that boggles my mind up to today, they have raised a lot of money and they make quite a lot of money, but they're still making losses. They have never made profits up to date. So a startup is a whole different journey. Over here, you're thinking about how you're going to rock or revolutionize an entire industry like Airbnb. Yeah, like all the greats and all the smalls that you don't even get to hear about, but they've made changes. And sometimes it's a long journey. So we were even discussing this, and someone said something that I felt was so important, that sometimes a founder will need money, one, for their own day-to-day, two, for even launching your business. So a lot of disparities. Yeah, there are a lot of disparities in the startup industry and ecosystem. And if any of you ever enter this space, you can hit me up on LinkedIn. I shall walk you through it and how we overcome. Because you'll come and you'll find that funding has disparities. Yeah, so the stories that you hear is, you'll read stories of American companies, European, basically the West. People come up with a great idea, reach a certain threshold, and they're able to get the investors that they want. It's a different story here in Africa for a number of reasons. That's another thing we can talk about, but there's hope. Let me say that there's hope. In the end, numbers don't lie. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter how you look or how you talk. As long as you're making the money, they don't care. But as part of the journey, so my answer to that question would be, as part of the journey, where are you as a founder, as a startup builder, as a startup founder? Do you need money to actually finance your startup? Do you need money to actually finance your lifestyle? And even if it's not feeding you right then, you know, I have met, and let me tell you, I have met, for example, a startup founder who's been at it for more than 5 years. He has a full-time job, but he never left his job. You see, the thing is, you never leave your job. You just learn how to live a very interesting life, because he tells me, and he's tired, but he's driven. So he tells me he'll wake up every day at 4 a.m., handle his startup up to like 6, 7, head on to work, 8 to 5, come back and do meetings up to 7, and then continue into the night. And that's his life. But this is someone who's been wildly successful, has employees across the continent, and which is, I think, very admirable. Yeah. And honestly, it's a journey. And maybe before you just take another, before I wind up, I would also say, in such a journey, I cannot stress the importance of mentorship. I've had someone else talk about it, but I cannot stress the importance of mentorship. My mentor and a long-term mentor, because of him, we avoided so many pitfalls. He taught me, and like when I think back on the number of years we've been at this, and I think the advice, we could have taken way longer to reach where we are, like double the time. And this is just from one person's wisdom. So align yourself with the right people. It doesn't take much. You can find a mentor on LinkedIn. I am so serious. You can find a mentor on LinkedIn. Just try your best, and I will not lie to you, doors open up. One way or another, even after some time, it always opens up. So yes, that's my answer. It depends on your journey. It's a yes or no, but it's never that you leave your job, because I don't think you ever leave your startup unless you've sold it. By then you've already exited and made your money. But it's not leaving your job, it's diversifying your revenue stream. And that's a decision that, and actually, one thing that came across me in that forum I mentioned, it's never a shame. Like, never feel like you're betraying your business. It's never an if or this or that. No, it's what you need right now, because the business needs you. This startup needs you to be the best that you can be, and at the best place that you can be mentally. And if that means getting this other 8 to 5, this remote job, this part-time, this full-time, you do that and then come and build. And at the end of it, I mean, if you listen to stories from even Jeff Bezos, there's a time he was doing a stint working studio yeah, and he had to, yeah, and even Elon Musk's story is not as straightforward as they paint it now. It was a roller coaster. No one starts on a new landscape, so you do what you need to do. But at the end of it, keep pushing on your business, keep pushing on what you're passionate about, and keep making a change. Yeah. It's the dream that keeps us alive. And at the end of it, it's always about what did you do with your days? Yes, and now I've talked a lot. Over to you.
No, you've really been able to capture everything. Literally everything I had, you have captured it. Thank you so much, Marcy. I have understood, diversify, especially with the current rate of inflation right now. If you can be able to have your current job, have your own startup, and I mean, it's amazing. It's great. Someone is asking, Marcy, do you offer mentorship? I can already see here someone wants already to be your mentee. People are already lined up.
Wow, thank you.
Marcy.
So much for the feedback. Yeah. Hello.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Yeah, you were breaking. Now you're back.
Yes.
Now you're back.
Yeah, I was just saying, thank you so much for the feedback. I am glad that I impacted a few of you, however many of you. Just yes, we can definitely talk. You can reach me on LinkedIn. as Mercy Kiptui. You will see Nywele Nyumbani there, so definitely that is me. You can also email me on mercykiptui@gmail.com. Yeah. And we can definitely talk. I was helped, so I can never, how can I say, really helping others. Yeah. And all the best to all of you. It's never too late and it's never too early. So yes, for whatever reason, whatever lesson you've picked, whether it's that show that you should pause for a while and do that course, maybe it's that thing you've been saying, let me start. And also start businesses early. Start startups early. Do you know some of the best startups are started when you are in university? I started in my last 2 years, just laying the groundwork, and it did something a lot. It definitely gave me a cushion as we began and just set me up. So please, yeah, just start with whatever if it's that course, if it's that idea you have, take it till the end. What will it cost you? But what it can earn you can be so great. Yeah, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Mercy. We really do appreciate you, appreciate your time, appreciate all the very many. I can see a lot of people are saying, wow, I like the talk. They've learned so much from you. So thank you so much for sharing that. We do appreciate your time. Now we can move on to the Q&A. I hope we've been able to ask Mercy all the questions that you guys might have. I know she's dropping off the call, but we still have the short Q&A with the rest of the speakers. Okay, I can see they'll even link with you on LinkedIn. So great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mercy. So now we have come to the final leg of our webinar. We'll be now continuing with the last set of Q&As that we had. So I had already started the Q&A, so maybe now I can just see if I can get the rest, the ones that I had not asked. Let me see which one have I not asked. So we've already gone through the data science, prerequisites, mentors. So
maybe I can just for a minute, if anyone has any questions, I'll definitely answer you on my email. But if you could just allow me to leave, and thank you so much for your time.
No problem. Yeah? We also appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Do have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So on the chat section, I'm trying to just look at the questions that you guys had already posted. So in just a minute. So we still have our speakers. The remaining speakers is just Mercy who's dropped off. I did apply computer science, but to be honest, I'm not sure what I can specify. Back then I used to do networking, but it's too shallow and no job. Kindly help. So this was Naira's question. I think, let me see which of our speakers can take this question. Or maybe because she's talked about networking, I can ask Nancy to just step in kindly.
Okay, sorry, maybe you can ask the question again.
Okay, okay, just a minute as I go back to that question. I did applied computer science, but to be honest, I'm really not sure what I can specify in. Back then, I used to do networking, but it is too shallow and no job. Kindly help.
Okay, I think that's a very nice question. For one, I think I'll go back to what I said. It's okay if you don't know where to get started, because like I said, especially if you did an IT course, you'll do a little bit of everything. So my advice would be, you have background in networking, right? Maybe the next step that you should consider is what's next for you. What actually, because you've had a taste of programming, you've had a taste of networking, you've done this and that. So if you want to take networking, I would advise you to go the Cisco pathway. You can major into networking, networking engineer. Well, we do have telecoms in Kenya.
You can if you feel you want to do more of that, you can take that path. If you feel you want to branch maybe into security, into something else, because networking is foundational, you can major to do everything. And if you're not sure, try and get a taste of a little of everything. You know, do a bit programming, do a bit, because I think from there, when you find the thing that resonates with you, the taste will be different. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nancy, for answering that. So our next question, let me see. What languages or skills one needs for data science or data scientist? So maybe, I think Melissa, could you kindly help us? What languages or skills does one need for data science?
Okay. I think the first thing before you get even into data science, it's go through statistics resources, because you'll find that very later on you will find that it occurs like very many times, and you have to understand. I think the next thing is languages. Python. I'm a bit biased, but Python. Yeah, sure. Depends on where you want to finally end up at, but Python is usually used a lot. Excel, gosh, I think people usually feel like Excel is so it's behind, and you're a techie and you're like, I want power. But having Excel, you'll find like, I think there's a friend of mine who was actually asking me to do some analysis, and what they were sent, it was a case study. What they were sent is like, you're supposed to do it using Excel. So if you find like, if you don't have good Excel skills, you find it a bit hard. So learn Excel. I think other things people have to look into, I think cloud computing, I don't know. I'm not so sure because I've never really, I'm actually also trying to upskill.
Okay.
Cloud computing. Yeah, that's basically it. And Power BI or Tableau, either of the two.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. So we have 2 questions here for Nancy. So one was, I'd like you to mentor me kindly because I think I need to venture into cybersecurity. And 2 was, I would like to know where to start in securing.
I'm leaving. Have a nice one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Okay, fine. Okay, sawa. Thank you.
Thanks for the session.
Thank you as well. We truly appreciate your time. Yes. And sorry, I was saying, Nancy, there's someone who would like your mentorship services. And then secondly, they'd also like to know where to start in securing the web app to eliminate loopholes.
Okay. Well, I think the question about mentorship to the person or to the people who would want me to mentor them, I'm happy to connect. You can do so on LinkedIn. I can share my email in the chat as well.
Okay.
So I think from there, because we can have further discussions around the same. About the next question was about securing web apps.
They said something about, let me just see it, web app to eliminate loopholes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, for one, I think the person asking this might be a dev, or maybe you do create websites. So I would say the very first thing is, as you're developing the website, have security as a consideration. That's something I actually advise. Don't wait to have security as an afterthought. Have it incorporated. For example, when it comes to there's so many vulnerabilities. Wow, when it comes to websites, yeah, we have whereby session hijacking. There is you can be, what is it called? There's broken authentication. There's SQL injection, local file inclusion. Not to mention so many technical jargons, but I would advise, if you're a dev, kindly know this these vulnerabilities. Not this web. It's called OWASP 10. You can check it out. There's also a site called Potswiga. You can look into that as well. They mention how these vulnerabilities come to be, because if you understand these vulnerabilities and how they can be exploited, you will be able to you'll be able to harden your code. So yeah, I think that would be like my top takeaway for that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Nancy. There's a question, rather comments here for Wamata. So, wow, search engine optimization, it has been a dream, but I don't know where to start. And then someone else said, where do or how can we start on digital marketing? Okay, wow, that's quite broad. So, Wamata, maybe you can address the two.
Okay, so the first one asked about search engine optimization, yeah?
Yeah.
What exactly was that about search engine optimization?
Oh, they just said, wow, search engine optimization, it has always been a dream, but I don't know where to start.
Oh, okay. All right. So first thing, the best thing to start with is to start by learning. That's the first step. Because it's a bit technical. SEO has three sides. There's the on-site, off-site, and then there's the technical side of SEO. So it would be nice for you to learn, first of all, of Google's expectations for like your SEO management. The very resourceful tools, Google has like very resourceful tools. You just learn from them directly. You won't even struggle per se. Then as you learn, because it's also very practical, it's a very practical kind of thing. So I don't know whether you have access to a website, maybe it's just starting up or something small that you can apply the SEO tips and tricks on, just to know how they work around. So if you know a friend who has a website, if you know a local business that is trying to boost their SEO, you could just get in touch and try and have that for, let me say, practical purposes, yeah? And then just like in hacking, there's ethical, there's white hat SEO, there's black hat SEO. So please try and stay away from black hat for now, because it could make you like, it could get Google closing down your site. So don't use black hat tips and tricks sana as much as they are popularized. When you study, you will come across them. So start by studying first of all, and then once you get the basics, go to practicals, and then yeah, I think you should find your way once you do that for the person who had inquiries.
Okay.
And then the next question was digital marketing.
Yeah. How do they start?
Same, yeah, there is black hat and white hat SEO. I can see Lauren's comment. Then on digital marketing, okay, again, you have to start by learning. Digital marketing is very, very broad. You can decide to stick to social media alone. You can decide to go search engines alone. You can decide to go into campaigns and events alone, like digital campaigns and events. So it's good, first of all, to study on the broad scale. And then from there, you'll sort of, let me say, you'll get your interest points. Yeah? You'll know, maybe I think from what I've understood on SEO, I prefer SEO, or from what I've understood on SEM, I prefer SEM. So you'll be better put to define your path. Yeah. Then once you understand that, now you major on your path, find the certifications necessary for that particular path. If it's like search engine marketing, there's digital ad, Google ads certification, there's a Facebook ads certification. So you now focus on that. And then as all speakers have been saying, just believe that you can do it. You're going to start off with a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of it. But you have to believe in yourself. Start with small things. Get a friend who has a Facebook page that they're trying to market and market it for them. It helps in building your portfolio and giving you confidence in what you can do with it. So yeah, that's how you get started.
Okay, thank you so much, Wamata. I can see another question here. Priscilla says, I have a CCNA certificate. What skill can I combine to get a job? Nancy, thank you.
Okay. Well, okay. The answer to that, I would say you've done the certification, right? You've gained the skills in networking. So I'll go back to what I answered to the previous question. It actually, I wouldn't want to be the person to tell you, go and learn programming, go and learn cybersecurity. I think it really narrows down to what exactly you want to do, because networking is, I think, everywhere. So gaining that skill is foundational. You have the foundational basis, meaning you can major in any path or any domain in tech that you'd want to major on. So my advice would be, first of all, try and curate and understand what exactly you want to do. What exactly do you want to major on? And if you're not sure, if you're very new, you have like no idea, try and understand what these different paths are all about. Try and understand what is data science all about. Try and understand what is programming, what is AI, what is machine learning. Is it something that, and then I think from that, once you understand, you'll be able to pick a path that actually works for you, because no skill is admissible, actually. We even have jobs, cybersecurity jobs that need a CCNA certificate. So my advice would be, it's very important. Don't just lock it away and say you have CCNA. No, try and actually leverage on that.
Okay, great. Can you also see a question that I think you've been able to answer, because Daniel says, I'm also taking HCIA Datacom networking course at Huawei, and also did web development scholarship at Immobilis. Do they rhyme? But I think what you've just said, don't usipuzilia anything that you've done, because some jobs actually require you to have done maybe a specific course. So yeah, thank you for that. Let me see if there's anyone else with a question. I hope. How does one tackle cyberbullying? Okay. How does one tackle cyberbullying? Nancy? So many questions on cybersecurity. Yeah.
It's okay. I think I love the fact that they're very interactive, and it's actually nice having these questions. So how to tackle cyberbullying? For one, I think the very first step is to be aware. Know when you're being cyberbullied, because right now on social media, people have made it a norm to body shame people, and also you have to understand how cyberbullying differs, because the same how a kid, maybe a child maybe in Kama High School will not be bullied the same way as a grown-up individual. It will differ. So for one, there are laws that deal with that. Actually, cyberbullying is actually a crime in itself. It's a cyber crime. The very first thing is I think the very first speaker, the second one, I can't remember, but someone mentioned about being careful what you put out there and being mindful of the people you have in your network. Because again, for example, if someone sends you a friend request or wants to be your friend, maybe maybe in the web, you can tell much about a person even from what they put out there. Be mindful of that. Secondly, don't allow yourself, I always say this, and I say that with a lot of passion, please have dignity. Please have dignity. Whether you're a guy, whether you're a lady, hold yourself to a high standard, because if someone comes up to you and tells you, like we've had cases where people are asked to send their nude pictures, it happens, and these people will kind of try and how do I say it? People have cases where people have even been blackmailed to do things because you sent someone your pictures. So always and really at the end of the day, try and steer away from external validation, because you'll find yourself wanting to do so much for the internet, for the likes, for the comments and all that. But like someone said, the internet never forgets. Especially there's a domain in security forensics I mentioned earlier, whereby even if you deleted a post like 5 years ago, I can trace it. If I really wanted to, I can actually create that post, that whatever, that picture, wherever you put out there. So be very mindful of the things you put out there. I think last year or last year but one, we had a case of a lady here in Kenya. She had been nominated to be part of the Ministry of Tourism, something like the advisory board. And then they found a post she had done from years back, whereby she was criticizing the Ministry of Tourism on social media. It was a Facebook post. She had even forgotten about it, but actually that was enough to for her to be demoted from that position. So be very mindful. We're not saying don't have fun on social media, but be very mindful of what you put out there. Be very I think today's theme, access and safety. You have to know how these attacks can happen. You have to know, how can I be hacked? How can I stay safe online? For example, if someone is sending you an application via WhatsApp, really, it doesn't make sense. Why don't I go to Play Store? Why don't I go to App Store and get that app myself? And someone, we've seen this happen, even on WhatsApp, even on Telegram. Someone is sending you an app, and what happens is this map is actually a virus, a malware. So after that, we also have spyware. That's how people spy on their whatever, maybe someone they're dating or married to, because once you click or download that file, it kind of, let me tell you how spywares work. Not trying to scare you, but it's something that actually it's there. So spywares, this is how they happen. I can send it to you as a link. I can send it to you as an app. Don't just download things because someone has sent you a link. I can actually take a PDF document or a picture, even a picture of myself, and encode a malware or a virus in that. And then once I share, spyware meaning it's spying on you and you're not aware. Basically, that's the whole idea. So if I send you an application or something like that, even if it's an app, it will not show on your phone. The app, once you download it, inapotea kwa simu. You won't see it. You won't even, hata ukiangalia apps, ukiangalia nini, it will not be easy for you to trace this app. And what happens is this is sending information to that person who has actually sent you that. They can see your calls, your texts, everything that you do. We have an attack called Keylogger on it's in security. And what Keylogger does is I'll be able to see everything that you're typing. So you can have, right now we're all using mobile banking. So you may log in to your app, maybe at National Bank or Equity, and then you type in your PIN. If I have Keylogger, if I've come and make a Keylogger in your device or in your laptop or in your phone, when you type in that PIN, I'll be able to see it. It actually comes as a text document on my end. I'll be able to see 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can see the risks are everywhere. You don't just trust everything that is sent to you or just download everything from anywhere, and this is how, and the reason I'm really being specific, I'm narrowing down, is because people have this notion, cybersecurity, only organizations can be hacked and stuff, but wewe mwenyewe can be hacked. Especially kama you're working mahali, you can be a vulnerability, a loophole that can take down an entire organization. So please be on the lookout for that.
Wow. That was quite informative and very, very specific. So thank you so much, Nancy. I think we've been able to answer most of the questions. I can see some questions in line to people wanting to join the college and also about the partial scholarship. So maybe kindly, I'm just going to post a number, especially if it's anything concerning Immobilis or specific course. Kindly just feel free to call this line in case you have any questions about our courses or what we do specifically. So that is our office line. You can reach out to us and we'll be able to assist where need be. In terms of where can one learn these courses for free online, I think, yeah, the speakers have mentioned quite a number of courses where you can learn online. If it's Coursera, if you want to do paid, there are different institutions or colleges or training institutions that offer this. So I think that's done. I don't think there's any other question. I think we've been able to cover everything. So thank you so much for engaging with us. Now I'd like to hand over to my moderator, the moderator of the day, so that she can give her closing remarks. Thank the speakers and thank everyone. So for me, I'd just like to thank you all. Thank you so much to our speakers. Thank you so much for availing yourselves. Thank you for the insights. And yeah, yes, the speakers, I think they can also share their profiles if it's LinkedIn or email addresses, so that, because there were many participants requesting for mentorship and such kind of things. So without further ado, I just invite you, Madam Wangui, to close our webinar.
Oh, thank you so much, Claire. I think let me start by thanking the speakers for availing themselves, and they've been very inspiring in many ways in terms of their journey, giving advice. And one thing I've learned about the whole session is that they also all came from somewhere. That means like they were mentored by someone and they're willing to share the same with other people. So guys, just audience, just take advantage of that these people are willing to share their knowledge and also mentor you guys onto the same path. I think they've posted, I can see some of them have posted their details there, where I think also if you can check on our Twitter, on our handles, you'll see if they're okay, we can share their details there, the LinkedIn profiles, for you guys to follow them, and maybe you can just decide how to continue with them. So on behalf of the Immobilis team, I would like to express my gratitude to all the esteemed audience. This would not have happened if you didn't make time, and for your presence and contribution in making this webinar success. We appreciate your involvement and thank you for sparing your time again, and hope that by participating in the session, you have gained some useful knowledge and you're also able to learn and be inspired by our speakers. So thank you so much for making time, and we really look forward to having another session and maybe invite you with other speakers or similar speakers. So thank you so much, and now have a lovely afternoon and enjoy your holidays. That's it from us. So any question, you can just use the number you've been given to ask any other thing you need, any other thing you require. So thank you guys and have a lovely holiday.
Same.